The first North Korean military personnel will be deployed to the battlefield at the end of the week. Ukraine continues its operation in the Kursk region. The United 24 media team spent the day with a combat unit there.
The most efficient way how to use it in a barren tree line.
How to strike military targets deep in Russia's territory. Unmanned Systems Forces shared unique footage of their operation. Hi, I'm Zhenia Melnyk and this is United 24 Media. Russia launched 63 attack drones on Ukraine in the early hours of October 25th, using several types of suicide drones such as Shahid. According to official reports, the air defense downed 36 Russian UAVs over 12 Ukrainian regions, including the capital Kyiv. Another 16 aerial threats were lost due to electronic countermeasures. Russia lost another Buk M-2 air defense system, reported the Ukrainian Southern Defense Forces. The defenders released footage demonstrating a precise strike on the Russian system and its later destruction. The Buk M-2 medium-range multi-role anti-aircraft missile system is designed to destroy aircraft, cruise missiles and helicopters. To follow the latest news from Ukraine, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Russia will deploy the first North Korean military personnel to the battlefield on October 27 to 28, reported President Zelensky, sharing data from Ukrainian intelligence. According to the statement, unlike all the disinformation circulating in Kazan, this clear escalation by Russia is a step that matters. Zelensky added that the world can see that Russia wants to continue the war, so a strong response is needed from the world's leaders. During the briefing, White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby stated that between early to mid-October, North Korea moved at least 3,000 soldiers into eastern Russia.
We assess that these soldiers traveled by ship from the Wonsan area in North Korea to Vladivostok, Russia. These soldiers then traveled onward to multiple Russian military training sites in eastern Russia, where they are currently undergoing training. We do not yet know whether these soldiers will enter into combat alongside the Russian military, but this is certainly a highly concerning probability.
Kirby added that if North Korean soldiers did enter into combat, this would demonstrate Russia's growing desperation in its war against Ukraine.
Russia is suffering extraordinary casualties on the battlefield every single day, but President Putin appears intent on continuing this war. If Russia is indeed forced to turn to North Korea for manpower, this would be a sign of weakness, not strength, on the part of the Kremlin.
South Korea could consider providing weapons to Ukraine, depending on the scale of military cooperation between Russia and North Korea. This was stated by the head of the country, Yoon Suk-yeol, after the summit with Polish President Andrzej Duda in Seoul.
우리 두 정상은
We agreed that North Korea's dispatch of troops to Russia is a direct violation of the UN Security Council resolutions and the UN Charter, and is a provocation that goes beyond the Korean Peninsula and Europe to threaten global security. I have made it clear that the Republic of Korea will never tolerate this, and will take necessary steps with the international community in accordance with the progress of Russia-North Korea military cooperation.
Earlier, the South Korean intelligence service shared the information that about 3,000 North Korean soldiers have moved to Russia, with 10,000 troops to be dispatched by December.
We have realized that the Russian military has been recruiting a lot of Korean speakers, and we have confirmed the fact that the Russian military has been educating the North Korean military about the usage of military equipment, including special training about how to operate unmanned aerial vehicles. There are also signs of North Korean authorities relocating and isolating those families in a certain place in order to effectively control them and thoroughly crack down on the rumors.
On Tuesday, Newsweek media made a report that Pyongyang has sent fighter pilots to Russia, potentially to support the ongoing war in Ukraine. North Korean pilots may have been deployed to Vladivostok last month to operate Russian military aircraft. Meanwhile, the first units of North Korean soldiers who trained in eastern Russia have already arrived in the combat zone of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Their presence was recorded in Russia's Kursk region on Wednesday. According to Ukraine's main intelligence directorate, this training took place in 5 military camps: Baranovsky, Dongus, Yekaterinoslawsky, the 248th and 249th. The coordination of these North Korean troops, which Russia intends to deploy in the war against Ukraine, is expected to take several weeks. According to estimates from the main intelligence directorate, the number of personnel transferred to Russia is currently around 12,000. This includes 500 officers and 3 generals from Pyongyang. Military personnel from North Korea could be moving closer to the front in Ukraine, alongside the BRICS Summit in Russia's Kazan, accompanied by words of allegedly preventing tension. This was stated by President Zelensky in his address to the Parliamentary Summit of the Crimea Platform.
We still know it is not the criminal who will prevail, not the one who destroys and deports, but the one who unites people based on fundamental human values and the UN Charter.
President Zelensky presented the victory plan to the participants of the summit. According to him, the implementation of the plan will allow a situation where Russia is forced to participate in the peace summit and see the full restoration of the purposes and principles of the UN Charter.
Today, on the United Nations Day, it is especially important to say this. To say it when the goal for which the UN was created is defended not by the UN Security Council and not even by UN officials, but by collaborative formats such as the Crimea Platform or the Peace Summit. And I would really like to remind the international bureaucracy and political leaders that today is the UN Day all over the world, not somewhere in Kazan.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres was among the guests of the BRICS Summit in Russia. The deputy spokesperson for the UN Secretary-General Farhan Haq reported that Guterres' trip to BRICS Summit is a standard practice, and his position on the Russian war against Ukraine remains unchanged. Russia failed to export its neo-imperialist views on changing world order and global security architecture with its aggression in Ukraine to the BRICS participants. This was reported by the Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. According to Article 36 of the summit's final declaration on addressing the situation in Ukraine, the BRICS members reaffirmed their national positions, commitment to the UN Charter, and their support for a peaceful resolution through diplomacy. The ministry stated that where Russia had planned to use the summit to divide the world, the global majority stands with Ukraine in its intention to guarantee a peace based on respect for international law and the UN Charter. The BRICS Leaders Summit started in Russian city of Kazan on Tuesday and lasted till Thursday. Putin stated that more than 30 countries took part in this event. According to the BBC, one of Putin's aims of the summit was to showcase that attempts to isolate Russia have failed. BRIC, later BRICS, was founded 15 years ago by Brazil, Russia, India and China, with South Africa joining later. For now, the members consist of 9 countries, with Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia and the United Arab Emirates also opting to join. Since the beginning of the Kursk operation, Russia has lost nearly 18,000 soldiers. Among them, more than 6,600 were killed and nearly 10,500 wounded. This was reported by the Ukrainian Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky. He added that since August 8, 711 Russian military personnel have been captured in the Kursk region. Ukrainian defenders also destroyed 45 Russian tanks, more than 250 armored fighting vehicles, over 500 other transports, 99 artillery systems and 5 multiple launch rocket systems. The 82nd Air Assault Brigade showcased the result of their work on the Death Road in the Kursk region. This name was given by Russian soldiers to a road spanning 14 kilometers inside the Russian border region, where their destroyed armor keeps piling up. The amount in estimated Russian losses runs into millions of dollars, with a wide variety of vehicles now left abandoned. The infamous Russian 155th Marine Brigade suffered the largest losses of equipment. After the beginning of the Kursk operation, the border between the two countries has turned into a fluid battle zone. Not since World War II has Russia fought a foreign force on its own land. For the first time since its inception, Ukraine's military police is operating outside of its border. The United 24 media team spent 24 hours with a combat unit of Ukraine's military police in and around the Battle of Kursk.
We wanted to show you something. Some call it the Dragon drone, others a thermite drone. It's the new Ukrainian weapon that has been going viral on the internet, and yeah, it spews fire.
Main part of the drone is the same. We're using like a basic drone, but the main thing which is makes him so efficient is this fire, I don't know, tube. We just roll the fire through it, like when we start to engage it. So yeah, it's quite effective.
You guys use it quite often, you said, huh?
Yeah, we use it quite often, but it only depends on how much ammunition we have, because like most of the time we just made it by ourselves.
What's the most effective way to use it?
The most efficient way how to use it in a barren tree line.
With infantry sitting in the trenches?
Yeah, with infantry which is sitting in the trenches.
Don't miss the full report on our YouTube channel. The Ukrainian State Emergency Service received 2 Ford tractor units from the Republic of Slovenia. These vehicles will help the SES pyrotechnic teams. Such tractors are designed to transport mechanized demining machines on low-frame trolls, as well as to transport various engineering equipment for debris removal and other urgent tasks faced by Ukrainian rescuers. The vehicles were purchased with the assistance of the United 24 platform. If you want to support the world's effort in clearing Ukraine from explosive ordnance, please scan the QR code and donate towards a demining vehicle. Psychologists of the State Emergency Service in 5 Ukrainian regions received new Peugeot Traveler rescue vehicles from the United Nations Development Programme in Ukraine with the financial support of the European Union. These vehicles will enable the rescuers to respond quickly and provide emergency psychological assistance to victims of the war. A new group of Ukrainian pilots completed their training in the United Kingdom. The next step for them is advanced fast jet training and switching to F-16s with partner nations. This was reported by the Royal Air Force. The graduation ceremony was attended by Minister of the British Armed Forces Luke Pollard and Ukrainian Ambassador General and former Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Valery Zaluzhny. According to Pollard, the UK has now trained 200 pilots. Unique footage of an Unmanned Systems Forces operation was revealed by the General Staff of the Armed Forces. The video shows the defenders preparing to strike military targets deep in Russia's territory.
Today, a very interesting event is taking place. The launch of Deep Strike by the Unmanned Systems Forces. You have the opportunity to witness and see how it happens on video.
These are cool boards that fly a very long distance. Today we will hit the territory of Russia because, let's just say, 2 can play this game. These were the boards used to destroy command posts. Yes, it is difficult, you need skills, you can't use it if you're all thumbs. You need brains, you need real training, but all our pilots are trained. It is hard, but we keep working. It flies quite far. For now, it works only for combined strikes. Whether they are afraid or not, the fact that we are causing them real damage, real economic damage, is 100% certain. What I would like to wish our beloved Muscovites, our enemies, and I always wish them this, when we launch some of our boards, I always write in them, this is for some of our cities which they mutilated and desecrated. I write for Kharkiv, for Dnipro, for Poltava, and I always draw a heart and say that we are just setting you with this love, so they can enjoy our love.
Насолоджуйтесь.
I believe that the heart does go on.
German Rheinmetall delivered 20 additional Marder IFVs to Ukraine. According to the press release of the manufacturer issued on October 25th, the delivery took place at the end of September. It was financed by the German federal government with an order value in the millions of euros. Since 2022, Germany has delivered nearly 200 of these much-needed vehicles to the front line. More than half of those are the Marder 1A3 model, equipped with additional laser rangefinders for efficient and precise target engagement. A West Germany infantry fighting vehicle with tracks, the Marder 1 was designed to carry soldiers into battle alongside the Leopard 1 tank during the Cold War. The turret is armed with a 20mm Rheinmetall cannon and 1,250 rounds of ammunition with a 7.62mm machine gun. The UK pledged a new loan amounting to nearly $3 billion to help Ukraine with military, budgetary and reconstruction efforts. This will be part of the G7's Extraordinary Revenue Acceleration Loans to Ukraine scheme, which will collectively provide $50 billion. This loan was announced by the UK Finance Minister Rachel Reeves and Defence Secretary John Healey while visiting Ukrainian personnel undergoing military training in the UK.
I'm able to announce £2.3 billion of support to Ukraine in the form of a loan that will be paid back by the extraordinary profits being made on frozen Russian assets. So this will ensure that Russian assets frozen in Europe, that the extraordinary profits on that will be used to help fund the war effort in Ukraine.
There's only one nation waging war in Europe, and that's Russia in its illegal invasion of Ukraine. Putin could stop this war tomorrow by pulling back. In the meantime, we will do everything we can to stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes.
The European Parliament voted in favor of a €35 billion loan to Ukraine, which is a key component of the broader G7 financial assistance plan. This loan, part of the EU's macro-financial assistance framework, will also be funded through future revenues generated from frozen Russian assets. It is intended to provide Ukraine with financial support until the end of 2025, helping to strengthen its energy sector and defense capabilities.
And with this vote, we are sending a very strong message that we are using profits from Russian frozen assets for Ukraine, and Russia as an aggressor must and will pay for its destruction. Slava Ukraini!
For the first time, the Ukrainian Navy participated in REPMUS 24, which is NATO's largest exercise involving unmanned systems in a maritime operation. The Ukrainian forces used a Delta combat system to coordinate over 50 unmanned aerial, ground, marine and underwater vehicles during the drills. This was reported by the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. In addition to coordinating drones, Delta successfully connected and received location data from a German robotic dog made by Rheinmetall. It is designed for mobility over challenging terrains, helping soldiers by performing various tasks and providing protection from minefields. The exercises were held near the Troia Peninsula in Portugal from September 9 to 27. This is it for today. We are United 24 Media. Thank you for being with us and see you next week.